Hello and welcome to Power Skills with Janna. I'm Janna Jones, your leadership development specialist, coach, and mentor, here to help you unlock the most powerful skills in your leadership toolkit. Today, we are going to explore a topic that I find both fascinating and inspiring: introverted leadership, how to leverage your quiet strength. It's often assumed that leadership is reserved for extroverts, the charismatic, the bold individuals who thrive on social interaction. But let me tell you, some of the most effective leaders in the world are introverts. They possess unique and valuable qualities that can drive meaningful change, foster deeper relationships, and create lasting impact. If you're an introvert, or you work with introverts, or you even lead introverts in your team, this episode is for you. We will discuss what introverted leadership looks like, the strengths of introverts that they bring to leadership, and how you can lead authentically while leveraging your own quiet strengths. Let's dive in. Firstly, let's define what I mean by introverted leadership, because introverts are typically more reserved, thoughtful, and introspective. They often need time to recharge by spending it alone and can feel drained in social settings. While extroverts might thrive in group discussions or energetic exchanges, introverts tend to prefer quieter, more reflective environments. But it's important to note that introversion does not mean shyness, reservation, or any lack of leadership capability. In fact, introverted leaders often excel in areas like deep thinking, active listening, and empathy, qualities that are absolutely critical for modern leadership. So, what makes an introverted leader stand out? Well, introverted leadership is about leading with clear intention, careful thought, and empathy, the ability to take time to understand people, strategize, and make well-considered decisions. While extroverts might energize a room with their enthusiasm, introverts can often create inclusive and psychologically safe spaces where others are willing to share their ideas and contribute meaningfully. So, common traits of introverted leaders may be things like they can be really reflective thinkers, because introverted leaders will often take the time to consider all angles before making a decision. They may be exceptional listeners, because they tend to listen deeply, which helps them to understand their teams and to build trust. Empathetic connectors, because they value authentic relationships, and because they may be really good at self-reflection themselves, they are also often more in tune with others' emotions. They're calm under pressure. Introverts can remain very composed and focused, even in chaotic situations, and also even when they are shaking or seething on the inside. Now that we've defined introverted leadership, let's take a minute to talk about the strengths that introverts really bring to the table. Firstly, deep listening and empathy. One of the key strengths of introverted leaders is their ability to listen deeply. They don't feel the need to dominate conversations or to speak over others, which creates a space for team members to share their ideas, their concerns, and their insights. This deep listening fosters trust, and it makes people feel truly heard. Because of their introspective nature, introverted leaders also tend to be more empathetic. They're naturally attuned to the emotions of others, which allows them to build strong relationships and to create supportive and inclusive environments. They can be thoughtful decision makers, because introverts tend to take their time when making decisions, thinking through problems carefully, considering multiple perspectives and potential outcomes. This ability to make well thought out decisions helps introverted leaders to navigate complex situations with a calm and strategic approach. Now, while some may perceive this as indecisiveness, it's actually a strength. By taking the time to think things through, introverted leaders often make far more informed and balanced decisions, considering their people. Leading by example, introverted leaders often lead through quiet influence rather than loud authority. They don't need to be the center of attention to inspire their teams. Instead, they lead by example. They demonstrate integrity, consistency, and dedication to their work. And this quiet leadership can inspire loyalty and respect in their teams, and beyond their teams as their reputation often precedes them in the organization. They foster collaboration. Because introverted leaders don't tend to dominate conversations, they do excel at fostering collaboration. They create environments where everyone feels valued, where ideas are shared freely, and this often leads to more diverse perspectives and more creative solutions. Introverted leaders often empower others to step up and to take ownership of their contributions. They allow the sort of supported autonomy in which many people thrive. Now, perhaps you're an introvert and you're wondering how to bring out your best leadership potential. Let's consider some practical strategies for leading authentically. Embrace your quiet strength. One of the most important things you can do as an introverted leader is to embrace who you are. Sounds simple, right? Perhaps not. You don't need to pretend to be extroverted or change your personality to fit a certain leadership mold. Your strength lies in your ability to think deeply, to listen actively, and connect meaningfully with others. As an introvert, you may excel at building one-on-one relationships, which can be a great way to lead. Take the time to connect with your team members individually, understand their unique individual strengths, and support their growth. Make sure that you set boundaries for your own energy management, because as an introvert, it's essential to manage your energy levels, especially in leadership roles that require frequent social interaction. This means setting boundaries where necessary. For example, schedule some time for solo work and reflection between meetings so that you can recharge, and really consider what that opportunity and deepen that learning for yourself as well. Make sure that you communicate your preferences to your team and set expectations around your availability as well, whether that's work blocks in your calendar. Leading effectively does not mean being available and on 24/7. It does mean leading in a way that's sustainable for you. Use preparation to your advantage. Introverts often thrive when they are so well prepared. If you are leading a meeting or giving a presentation, taking the time to plan and organize your thoughts ahead of time may be key for you. This preparation can help you feel more confident and in control, allowing you to lead more effectively in public and group settings and show up in the way that you most want to. Likewise, consider your team's needs as well, because introverts in your team may be more likely to contribute when they have had an agenda or a pre-read to consider beforehand. Preparation could be key for both your leadership and cultivating inclusion in your team. Leverage your listening skills. Active listening is one skill that I would love to give every leader, but listening is one of your superpowers as an introvert. So use this to your advantage by actively listening to your team, asking curious questions, and giving others space to contribute. This not only helps you to gain valuable insights, but it also creates a more inclusive and collaborative team environment. Use delegation to empower others. Introverted leaders don't need to do everything themselves, and they are well aware of the strengths of their teams. So one way to lead effectively is by empowering others, delegating tasks, and giving the team the autonomy to take ownership of their work, and also the support when it's new to them as well. Not only does this start to free up your time for deeper and strategic thinking, but it also helps to build confidence, capability, and credibility in your team members. We are stronger and smarter together. So while introverted leaders bring many strengths to the table, there are some common challenges that they may also face. So I wanted to take the opportunity to address a couple of these and explore further strategies for overcoming them. The perception and sometimes the misconception of being too quiet. If you're an introverted leader, you've perhaps heard this before, because one challenge that introverted leaders may face is the perception that they are too quiet. This is not necessarily the case, but a perception, or that they're not assertive enough. This can sometimes lead to misunderstandings about their leadership capabilities. To overcome this, focus on clear and authentic communication. Be intentional about sharing your ideas and decisions with your team, even if it doesn't come naturally to you. You don't need to be the loudest voice in a room, but it's important to ensure that your voice is heard when it matters. I used to coach an introverted executive that struggled with this one a lot. being called too quiet in meetings, or questioned about not contributing in meetings. The challenge that they actually had was that they wanted to deeper understand first in order to be able to better support the leadership team rather than offering an answer, limited information. This meant that instead of speaking up, they would go to the other leader and pull them aside after the meeting and offer quiet support. Instead, we worked on how in that moment, she could instead acknowledge that that was a really great question and it sounds like a great opportunity to make a shift, and that she'd be happy to sit down and work with that leader and understand a little bit more so that they can come up with a solution together. Essentially, this is what she was doing anyway, privately and one-on-one. So it seems like a subtle shift, but it felt very authentic for that leader to be able to do it in session, what they were doing already. So consider if there are some subtle shifts that you might like to make, but keep it authentic. That is absolutely the key. Networking and building influence may also present a challenge, as networking can feel daunting for introverts, but building relationships and influence are key to leadership success. So instead of trying to network in large, overwhelming settings, perhaps you might value seeking out smaller, more intimate gatherings or one-on-one meetings where you can connect meaningfully with others, maybe even an informal coffee catch-up with another leader or mentor. Remember that building influence as an introvert is quality over quantity. So focus on deep, authentic relationships rather than trying to network with everyone. LinkedIn can also be a really valuable opportunity for introverts to connect with others in a non-obtrusive way. Consider sharing what is valuable and meaningful to you clearly and authentically online. So, to all my introverted listeners out there, I hope today's episode has empowered you to see the incredible strengths that you bring to leadership. Introverted leadership is about leading with thoughtfulness, empathy, and quiet strength. Let it be your superpower, the thing that sets you apart. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to inspire and drive meaningful change. If you have found value in today's episode, please subscribe to Power Skills with Janna for more insights on leadership, personal growth, and unlocking your full potential. I would love to hear your thoughts, so don't hesitate to reach out via Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn to Power Skills Development. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to work with me further, head to www.powerskillsdevelopment.com to learn more. Stay true to yourself, stay empowered, and have an incredible rest of your week.